So today we are going to play with some pieces to open up your eyes about who you are, but what you can wear. So we can try some things and see what you think.
Okay.
You ready to do that?
Yes, ma'am. Most definitely.
Let's go.
Yes, girl.
Okay, Ruth, the last and final mix of this white t-shirt dress.
Yeah.
This is giving you everything that you want somebody to say about you without you ever saying a word.
Oh my goodness.
Because your clothes have to speak.
They're speaking. Thank you.
What are they saying to you?
Honey, they saying, I'm ready. Like, this girl knows what she wants and she's going to get it. And that's exactly the brand. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, girl. This has been amazing. Hello, beautiful. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming Serene, an entrepreneurial-minded woman's podcast where those who want to embrace peace on your pursuit of purpose. Thank you for joining us. And today on Becoming Serene, we are celebrating women who live intentionally, women who understand that true style doesn't start in the closet, but it starts in the soul. And today's guest has taken that truth and turned it into a calling. With over 20 years in the fashion industry, her work has addressed everything from ministry stages to magazine covers. And she's the creative behind the National You Belong Here campaign, has styled visual rollouts for Dillard and brought the Beef Fragrance brand to life for its debut at JCPenney. She's also the go-to stylist for powerhouse women, helping them align their presence with their purpose. She believes that when a woman steps out in confidence, she doesn't just change how the world sees her, she shifts how she sees herself. Through her styling experiences, clients receive identity affirmations, vision alignment, and the permission to show up fully, whether she's curating a brand shoot or mentoring through her workshops. Stacey Lynn helps women walk into their next chapter with clarity and conviction. This is not surface work. This is transformation, tailor-made, and it is an honor for me to welcome the woman behind the mission and the mirror, the illustrious Stacey Lynn. Woo! Give it up, give it up.
Now, who was that about?
Baby, honey, I have had the experience. That was all you, and I could go on and on.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for that powerful introduction. I promise you, every time I see this or hear somebody talk, I'm like, who they talking about? That's a powerful woman.
You're right. You're definitely right, because she is you.
Thank you so much
for joining me. Honey, I want to jump right in because we've already spent some time that you all are going to see shortly, like experience on camera with me, because you already know Ruth did not dress herself like this. I take pride in my look and how I leave this home and how I represent my husband and our children and our brand. But this right here is all Stacey Lynn's style. So we are going to jump right in. Honey, how did this come to be? When did this begin?
So, very funny. I feel like I have been styling my entire life, literally. I can't tell you when it started, right? Because I have always had this passion for fashion. And that sounds so cliche, so don't give me, you know what I'm saying? Don't come for me. But it is true this was our pastime. I literally, when I was a little girl, we would go shopping. That's what me, my mom, my grandma, that's what we did. My sister, on a Saturday, we were going shopping. On a Sunday, we were going shopping. When my mom got off work, we were going shopping.
Wow.
We shopped all the time. And it didn't matter if we had money or if we didn't have money.
Were you buying something?
Not all the time. Sometimes we were window shopping and saying what we would have bought if we had some money that day. I promise you that just was what we did. And so people always say, like, oh, your family's so stylish, they're so this, they must have get it from you. And I'm like, I get it from them.
Wow.
I get it from
all of you are like this.
Now,
Man.
I am a little bit more like picky. My mama said when I was a little girl, I would go upstairs and change my clothes if I did not like them. So like she would always like want me to put on red and red. I was born in the 90s, so you know there was a thing where colors are, and I was like, I don't like that red with that red. I'm not wearing that. And she said I was the hardest person to get dressed in the morning because I was always telling her what I was not wearing.
Wow.
So I've been this way. And I tell people now, I understand. Because God was cultivating something in me very early. And they didn't know it, right? But here we are today.
One of the things that I love so much about your journey is, although, like you're saying, it started, pardon me, it started early, you still didn't jump right into it. So I just happen to say, you know, is this what you've always done? So what else did you do before this? Once again, interviewing somebody that is not directly related to what they do. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Absolutely not. When I was in high school, I loved style and I knew I loved style. I was the kid that was watching Style Network. I was figuring out how to get this look for under $100. I don't know if you knew about how do I look. And I was watching Style Network instead of watching Disney Channel and all of those things because I wanted to see what they was doing. And I remember going to my mom and saying, I really want to be a stylist. And my mom was like, girl, you don't know no celebrities and ain't nobody about to pay you. So you're going to school for something practical. And I played sports and I really wanted to do something that helped people. So I looked into the career of a physical therapist, and so I went to school for physical therapy. I got my bachelor's degree in kinesiology and an associate's as a physical therapist assistant. Wow. And so when I graduated college, that's what I came out, and I was doing that. And I loved my career. There was nothing about my career that I wouldn't even say that it was a mistake because it definitely was necessary. I learned so much about the body. I know all muscles, I know all nerves, all, you know what I'm saying, everything about the body. And so although it had nothing to do with fashion, it had everything to do with what I do right now. And so, so I got my start in physical therapy, but while I was in college, I was on a fashion registered organization at my school. And we had to critique outfits and we were modeling. We were a modeling agency. Wow. So it was just, when I say my path to get here makes so much sense.
Oh my God, yes, most definitely. So on this path, because I have to bring it up because our show also focuses on how your faith, your family, and your focus has brought you to where you are and, of course, taking you where you want to go.
Yes.
Because we already know this is not the plateau. We haven't arrived.
We have not.
We've never arrived. We're always arriving.
Yes.
It's continual. So how has your faith played a huge part of this?
I wouldn't be here. I literally wouldn't be here because if you are an entrepreneur, you know that this ain't no joke.
No, ma'am.
It's not easy to show up every day for yourself, and they don't mean that somebody gonna clap for you.
Right.
And much like I told you, my mom was the one to say, you don't know no celebrities. So if the person that's in your house barely believes in what you're doing, and don't get me wrong, my mom believes in what I'm doing, but she wanted to, I feel like most parents want to protect their children. They want to make sure that they're doing something that they're going to get paid for and be successful.
She knew you had expensive tape.
Listen, she knew. Because, listen, I ran them pockets up. She knew.
She wants you to get out of those pockets.
Yes. She's like, you getting a job, a career, something that's going to pay you well, that you ain't got to be begging somebody for. And I thank God for that, because it has helped me through the process of even building my business.
That's right.
But my faith is the foundation of it all, because even with family, you have to have God in your life. If you do not have God, you have nothing. So you can have the whole world,
Yes, I promise you.
but without him, you have nothing.
Because having the whole world is nothing.
It's pretty much nothing. It is nothing. And so I feel like God gave me the strategy. He gave me the ideas, because I couldn't have fathomed doing what I do now for a living
Right.
without the strategy that he put in me.
That's the truth.
Because if it had not been for my mom saying, "Hey, go to school for this, go to school for something that will pay you," I wouldn't have been able to start my boutique,
Right.
because that was 100% funded by me.
See?
Wow.
I didn't get a grant. I didn't have loans. That was 100% funded by, thank you to the check that came every 2 weeks
That's right.
as a physical therapist assistant.
See, oh my goodness, I tell people that all the time, the young people that I teach, and they're going into construction field, but they have desires and dreams in other areas. I said, hey,
Yes.
let this be the beginning to catapult you to where you want to be. Let this fund that. As you thank all the people who got you here,
Yes.
and, pay it back. You also pay it forward. But
Yes.
yourself, like,
Yes.
that's awesome.
Yes.
I'm so glad you shared that.
I think that there's a lot of confusion in the world where they feel like they can come out and just make money,
Right, right.
or they can drop a video on social media and that it'll go viral and it'll bring them $1 million. It's many people that went viral but don't have no money.
My goodness, that's the truth.
So strategy is very important. I didn't realize it at the time that that's what God had gave me. And so I graduated, and I graduated at 23. I was making $120,000 a year, still living with my mom. And they were giving me the opportunity to live out my dream, right? Because I didn't have to pay rent. I didn't have to worry about the things that people get out of school think they're going to get their own. No, I was able to fund my dream.
Listen, parents, listen, children. This is so important.
Yes. And I think more than anything, I understood that God had put something in me that needed to come out. And so it was bigger than me. It was bigger than, so I got attached to what I saw, but not how I was going to get there.
Most definitely. We don't have to see the whole picture as long as we're obedient to taking those steps.
Absolutely.
And you did just that. So tell me about the boutique life.
Yes.
What that taught you.
Oh my goodness.
Because I'm sure this was pre or during COVID.
Oh, this was before COVID. I started in 2014.
Okay.
So January 2014, Her Treasures Boutique was born. And actually it was called Hidden Treasures at the time. And
I remember that. Now that you say, I kept wondering what was the name of the boutique.
Yes. So we started doing pop-ups, and I was doing pop-ups at like fashion shows. I mean, I was everywhere. I did, and for the first 3 months of my business, I did not make but one sale, and that was my best friend. My best friend bought a pair of pants from me when I first opened up, and from that day, I ain't make no more money for 3 months. 3 months. But it was because I knew nothing about marketing. I knew nothing about, I was like, I'm just going to buy these clothes. I'm put them up on this website. I did everything myself. I learned how to make a website. I was up putting all this stuff together. And I had a great website, but I had no traffic to the website. I had a social media page that I had started and opened up the boutique like, hey, I'm here. But it was nobody there waiting for me to be here. And who was waiting? And so after 3 months, I'm like, I gotta do something. And I started doing pop-ups all over the place in different beauty shops. Every Friday I would go with clothes to the beauty shops. And that's how I started to connect. And I got that grassroots type of vibe where I'm like, okay, if online selling ain't working. I want to sell in person. And people started to connect with me personally. And so now my social media is picking up because now people are seeing. Now I'm investing my money at this point, and I'm like, something's got to give. But again, I was still working, and I had no idea really what return on investment looked like. I also did not have any idea about profit margins. And when I say, if I was to start with all the information I learned through the 8 years of being in business, I would not have started.
Wow.
So God didn't let me know that,
Oh my goodness.
because it was such a hard.
Yeah, it is.
It was
Stop money. I can't.
it was so hard.
No.
But I wouldn't take it. I would not take that back. That experience changed me. It built me. It made me into a person that I am today.
Most definitely. And you know what? I tell people often, and it is because I experienced that, I've lived it. Without that breaking and without that weak, that's how our faith
It's built. Yes.
That's how our prayer life is increased.
Yes. Listen.
No, we have to lean on God because, yeah, we can't do certain things in our own strength. You would not keep moving forward like you said.
I couldn't have. I knew that it was God, because every time, I found myself on my knees crying, praying. And I remember it was my 5th year as a full-time physical therapist, and I felt the Holy Spirit say, leave your job. And I'm like, leave my job?
Like, this is fun.
I'm like, wait. You must be about to, do a 360. But I'm like, okay, again, at this time, I still am not aware of profit margins. I'm still not aware of how I'm even I'm just pricing things based off of what I think it should be priced at. I'm not, there is no strategy behind any of this. And so I'm like, but I'm obedient. So when I got that confirmation that it was time for me to go, I put in my 2-week notice, and I didn't know what was next. No clue what was next. No clue what was next.
Girl.
And I went full force. I said, okay, God, you telling me to leave? I'm going to leave. That was the hardest, most challenging year of my life. I went bankrupt because, again, I was making $120,000 a year.
Yeah.
I was working, and I had, like, you can do what's called PRN as a physical therapist. So you could work a full-time job and pick up hours other places. So this is what I was doing.
Girl.
And then to say I don't have that full-time job anymore, and I could still pick up hours, which I was PRN. And but it was like it was dried up. It was like nobody was calling me for extra hours, so I didn't have that money coming in, and I was only solely leaning on my business.
Right.
And most people would say, "Well, why didn't you just go back?" Because I didn't have the clearance to.
See.
And I knew that during this time something was being built. Something was happening in me. And that's when I had to really learn what God was trying to tell me.
Yeah.
What I understood about my business, my scripture for my business is, where your heart is, where your treasures are, your heart will be also. And I understood that it wasn't just about the treasure of money.
That's right.
But it was correcting my heart. But it was also about the responsibility that it takes to actually own a business. And through that year, I learned so much about God. I went through my wilderness experience where I had to seek God daily for my daily bread. And that made so much sense to me. And so when you say faith family, this was my business. That was how I was able to live. That experience changed me in a way that I feel made me more resilient. I understood the strength that God gave me,
Yes.
but I also understood that I cannot take a seed and just live off of it, if that makes sense.
Yes, I
So, like,
understand.
we get a paycheck and we think this all about us,
Most definitely.
but it's like we supposed to be planting that seed.
Right. That's right.
You're supposed to be investing that seed so that it grow for the future, and then you're supposed to find a way to get. Well, first need to be giving it back to God,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That 10%. So me understanding that all happened in a time where I didn't have anything,
What happened?
right?
Wow.
And so that was my first experience in entrepreneurship. This was before I even started like really styling for real. But the whole strategy that I did have was that I would open up a boutique and that people would be attracted to me because of the way that I styled the pieces. Because what I understood was what my mom said. I don't know any celebrities who's going to come to me for styling unless I set it up that way. And so I was marketing myself as an expert in this field before I got into this field.
Wow.
And what that did was draw people to me because one, I had the clothes. Not only did I have the clothes, but I had the style as well.
Yes.
So putting those two together, that was a combination and match.
Yes.
So although I didn't have like the business strategy,
Right.
I had the creative strategy.
Yes.
And I just ran with that.
And then one of the things you shared with me earlier also is that you wore the clothes. Of course, you
Yes.
modeled them. Some people are excellent in certain areas and fields, but they don't use it. They don't do it themselves to themselves. And it's like, okay.
Exactly.
I don't
They're
need
just
to
selling
prove
it.
this.
Yeah.
Right, right. Most
Absolutely.
definitely.
Absolutely.
So that's a standout thing to do.
Yes.
And another thing that you shared with me earlier too is that when they came in and would come in a boutique and want pieces and everything, like, I wore that and I didn't look like you. Like, what's going on? Like, what didn't I do right? So please
Absolutely.
share that, because again, I have all pieces that I own and I would never have put these together, but I am now.
Yes. And that's the beauty of opening up your mind to another person's level of creativity, right? And so sometimes people will take things and they would think because such and such wore it, right? I saw it on Pinterest and she wore it this way. I think I should, I should be able to wear it. You have to find what makes you your clothes you, what makes you you. So a lot of times when people are copying the way that they see something, it doesn't look the same because we don't have the same dimensions. We don't have the same personality. We don't have the same, a lot of things that are different. We can have the same hairstyle, but it look completely different on you because our head shapes are different. A lot of things going to be different, right? And so that's what I used to tell people all the time. It's like, it doesn't look like what it looked like on me because you're you. So now we got to find what makes this piece you. You know what I mean? And it's simple things, right? Like something that we did today, which is finding these pieces that's already in your closet, but figuring out how can I make this more personal, right? Finding that uniqueness, and it's simple. Get a couple pins. Let's get let's move a little piece around. That's what we have to do to really create things unique, make things unique. We can all buy the same thing in the store, but we should not all be wearing it the same way.
So I wanted to mention how we met. So I went to an event, and I was excited to go to the event because I was, going to be in the presence of a mentor, and someone I've been following and then started to work with. And so I went to this event, and then there's somebody just walking around her and fixing our clothes, and I said, oh, because I'm of the persuasion that I've always desired, and I just do, because I desired a stylist, I desire a personal chef, I desire a certain type of lifestyle, because I know what I am called to do and purpose to do. And I tell people all the time, there are other people that's their calling, to dress someone. It's their calling to cook, and because they love to do that. And I want to help them do what they love.
Yes, yes.
That's just how I live and how I work. So I get compliments on everyday looks, on to work here, there, whatever. Oh, I like that skirt. I like that look and all that. But to have an experience like I did with you, where you take ordinary pieces out my closet that probably have not been touched in years, like you shared, and definitely wouldn't have been pulled together. Definitely would not have not layered the way they were. They probably would have been layered the
Differently.
opposite way. Yes, totally differently. All of those things. Please share with me not just your passion of styling, period, but how you feel that it's important for all women to embrace and possibly experience at least one time. You know, you always have to have that one time where you get your hair done differently.
Yes.
The one time that you actually have a professional makeup artist.
Yes.
It's a different feeling.
Oh, it's definitely a different
know it.
feeling.
It's different from you doing your own press on nails to you getting
Yeah.
a professional set. It just is. It's different. Me scrubbing my feet and going to get a pedicure. Like my husband and I last year for our anniversary, I said, let's do a staycation. He said, okay, cool. And just planned it. And you could do any and everything you want to do. That man got a massage, got manicure, pedicure. He said, oh, that's what you do because you just get everything together. I was like, yeah.
This me. This
You could have experience. You could come here tomorrow. He said, well, dog, no wonder.
Yeah.
We'll just dip out sometimes because we need to. And ladies, those of you who work hard, those of you who are CEOs, those of you who want and are building a brand, come on. If you have not had a conversation with a stylist, please look up Styles by Stacey Lynn. It's imperative that you check out her YouTube and everything that she's dropping because we need this. I knew I needed this, but I'm so glad
That you got.
some people don't know.
Yeah.
Tell me how an everyday woman can experience, you know, something like this.
Yeah. So, one, you can always just go to my website, www.stylesbystacylynn.com, and we can help you out, right? You can schedule a consultation, we'll set you up. But the key, the reason why I believe every woman deserves this is because every woman has gotten to a point in their life where they forgot about themselves.
Wow.
And I believe that once you tap into style, it reminds you of who you are or who you desire to be. It's seldom that a woman puts herself first.
Right.
Very often we have put our jobs, our family, our friends, anything before ourselves. But when you actually experience style, you experience an elevation in your mind.
Wow.
It's not just about style.
I believe it.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
Because what you start to do is uncover insecurities about yourself from a child. I remember doing consultations with a woman who was once plus size and now she's lost weight and she did not like floral. And I finally asked her, why don't you like floral? And she said, because when I was big, that was the only option of clothes that I had. And now that I'm smaller, I will not be caught in floral. And now that opens up my mind to see she still has this thought process about herself that she's big and that but she's not, right? She's not anymore. And so that floral's going to look different, but it put her in a mindset of who she was and not who she was becoming. And so sometimes we start to uncover insecurities in us that we didn't know existed, but that we're living out every day.
Right.
And that's why I believe that more women need to experience a real style experience, and tap into who they truly are, not just who they want to be on the outside.
Yes.
So I tend to lean into my consultations more about you. A lot of people ask me, like, why are you asking me these questions? I thought we was talking about style. Yeah, I can get to that. I can interpret what you need to look like based off of the things you tell me once you figure out who you are.
Definitely.
But a lot of us are limited simply because we don't know who we are.
Right.
And so once we figure out who am I and what do I bring to this world and what do they need to know about me, there's a different level of connection. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I love that. Another thing that you mentioned is when we do dress a certain way and have a certain experience, and now you curated a style for us or a few looks. That has anyone ever said, now how am I supposed to keep this up? Like,
Yes.
I look like this to this event, but the next time people see me, they're going to be like, girl, what happened? And I literally tell people that after I got married, that was probably, I probably had, my face professionally done for prom. I don't even remember. Girl, that was in the 90s. But when I got married, no, that was in the 80s, actually. So when I got married, it was in the 90s. But I constantly got my face made up in preparation for us choosing who's going to do my face. And then he was trying different looks. Because thank God, my friend Keith, hey, shout out to Keith, who is Val Warner's makeup artist now. Really, Keith, you just left me out there. But anyway, he did my makeup for my wedding. And I said, I got to keep looking like this.
Yeah.
So that made me not necessarily wear a full face of makeup, but more conscious of how I show up.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure being styled is the same way.
Absolutely.
So in your consultation and after, styling someone, do you say, okay, this is what you don't ever wear again? No, ma'am.
I have never told somebody, let me not use those words.
Right. Ooh, girl.
Because I cannot say that I've never, but I think that naturally, once you have been styled, you elevate in your mind and you want to keep that same elevation. There's a level of confidence, a level of power.
I agree.
A level of certainty that you feel when you show up.
Yeah.
And when you're looking good, people let you know. And you want that feeling every time.
You do.
Because it becomes like a high. It's like, man, and it's not because you're looking for it, because you don't need it, because you feel it. But it becomes a standard, which is what we want. We want to create a standard. As I was telling you earlier, in social media, especially as business owners, we need to create a visual perception of who we are. It needs to represent who we truly are, but it also needs to represent something that somebody can relate to or want to, come up to, acquire. And so when you are putting yourself out here, the best way to do it is in the best way possible. Stylish and looking amazing so that other people can believe that you actually believe what you're selling.
I love that you didn't say, and I'm going to be honest, because I have attempted to take the economic route sometimes in being styled. And there are those online things where you could do a subscription box and they ask you, what's your we didn't have this free conversation, girl. I don't even know why I just remembered.
That's
I will jump on. I've done it twice. When they send me clothes. If I like them, keep them. If I don't, send them back. All that. This is your shape and this is your size. And show me. This latest one, I thought they were going to send me clothes. They didn't send me clothes. They just sent me suggestions and I'm paying for this.
Yeah.
I'm like, absolutely not. If you don't unsubscribe me
immediately.
But I didn't even know what the heck I subscribed to. So there are people out there sampling and doing things based on their body type. But like you said, if they still have these limiting beliefs, somebody could send them couture straight from Paris, baby.
Absolutely.
And put it on and they still gonna come with the same attitude.
Yes.
And if it's fitted like a glove, but they're still not gonna carry it right. Because you said something to me when I was trying to close about wearing it or it wearing you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what happens. People look at a lot of social media influencers and they're like, oh, she's super stylish, she's this, she's that, but what she carries is a confidence that you don't. And that is internal. That has nothing to do with the external. Now the external helps, but it's only an assistant.
I love it.
Right? You have to actually believe that you look good. I can come in here in any outfit. I guarantee you, I have done it before. I have worn a garbage bag. Right? But it was the way that I wore that garbage bag that people loved. And I might actually just give you the picture of me in the garbage bag so that people loved it. But it's because it's who I am. and I was wearing it, so now everybody want to. So you can sell, you can wear anything that your body, that you can carry. And so some people are wearing clothes, and other people just have clothes.
So,
Right? You can have all the name brands, you can have all of those things, and those clothes just wear you. They don't look like they belong to you. And one thing that I always wanted my clients to feel is that what they have is theirs,
yeah.
right? It belongs to them. It feels like a second skin, and that's truly what your style should be. Is a second skin. It should be an expression of you outside of you, right?
Not complicated.
It might be complicated.
But I mean complicated as in your mind is scrambled. It's
Exactly.
like, oh my God. Like, I hope this looks okay. But
Right.
you're going to go looking disheveled. Like,
Exactly.
I definitely, yeah. Because I've seen some of them.
So what's they look complicated. They look like they were struggling, but what is very important is like you said, this is stuff that you had in your closet already. So there was an attraction.
It's in my house.
It's in your house. So it was an attraction to it when you bought it,
Yes.
but you didn't know how to make it your own. And so it's important for us to actually explore, how do I make this my own? I can go and grab the most simple basic t-shirt, but I can add this brooch and this patch and this and that. Now I've made it my own. So even the clothes that I bought look custom.
Oh,
Right?
that's amazing. That's customizing. I keep looking at this hat, and I'm like, the only way I would have worn this hat would have been like this, which I have. And many people have seen.
Yes.
Like, but I never would have rocked it back here like I'm. And I know my baby Sheree, who sold me this hat, is like, really, Ruth? Like, I would have worn it like that, but
Yeah.
I just wouldn't have, especially even with my hair like this, because I told you, now I will put a hat on, but my hair is longer. Was like, extend my life.
We make all of them
Like,
excuses.
that is so true.
Yeah, we like, oh, when I lose 10 pounds, I'm gonna put this on, and when I do this, I'm gonna put that on. Like, what's stopping you from reaching your style goal today?
Wow.
And the reason normally is something that we put in it as a limitation, not something that is a real limitation, right? Because at this size that you're at today, you still have to put on clothes.
Oh, that's so true.
It don't matter what size you are, you still gotta put on clothes. So why not put on clothes that you actually love?
Amen. Agree.
Why not give the world who you are today, whether you're a size 2 or a size 22? It doesn't make sense. But what we have to do is find what works for us,
Yes.
and then work that thing. It's okay to say, hey, I don't like this part of me, but I love this part of me, because you have something to offer the world. And that's just what I want people to know. Style does that for you. When you're in a bad mood, style picks you up
It does
every single time.
time. It's like music. It is. It's so creative.
Yes.
You can play with it. Like, honey, I can wear a gym shoe or a heel.
Yes.
But I'm going to rock both of them out. Okay, what is, I did not
Uh-oh.
give you you didn't have a preview to this question either. But what has been one of your favorite transformation stories? Somebody and their response. This is why I do this, because as a teacher, I have, experiences where somebody comes back or say, I get it. And, because of you, I love learning that.
Yes.
So what is that moment?
I would have to say that my favorite transformation was a woman who was recently divorced, and she was in a process of finding herself. And she knew who she was, but she hadn't arrived to her yet. And the first day that we worked together, she wasn't sure, about this whole styling thing, but she knew that she needed to show up a certain way in her pictures. And I don't know if it's okay, but I'll mention her name. Her name is Maria Jeanette, and she was at that time going through a divorce and just trying to find who she was again. And to see her from that day to see her now, she's a completely different woman. She is confident, she is bold, she is all the things that she mentioned she wanted to be in our consultation. She is all of that and so much more. And I love that for her, because what I saw is that not only did style make her see herself, but it made her search herself, made her find who she wasn't, so that she could be that person today. And so I would say that that's probably my favorite transformation.
That's so awesome.
Yes.
Because when we did have a brief conversation about how do you want to show up and how do you want people to see you, I've thought about that before. I may have even written it down before.
Yeah.
I don't think about that
Daily.
I don't.
Yeah.
Even if there's a major event, I just want to look
good.
clean, polished. But as far as powerful and this, that, I don't think about all of those things.
Yes.
It's almost as if you need to write them on the mirror or whatever.
Yes,
But
it's like an
does need to be part of
affirmation.
your affirmation. Yes,
Yes.
it does, because then people will be more intentional.
Yeah.
And their selections of dress, even when they shop, or what they say yes to.
Yes.
And I'm one of those people that you could give me anything. When people give me things, and I'm just like, they'll become useful one day. Like,
Yeah.
I don't ever get anything. Go, this is just what I need.
Right.
But I always think, and that's what I even gave you. I was like, here's the bag and box of scarves. Here's some jewelry. Like,
Have your way.
yes. Just like, yep, I could do this. And I'm just like, this is a real gift. Like, I'm seeing it unfold right before my eyes.
Yes.
It's differently when someone, because, we watch shows and movies, and the stylists come with the stuff. They bring their own stuff, and they roll in like, this is what I think you should wear. I know it's a gift when I give you my garbage. I just give you my stuff.
Not garbage.
Not garbage. My husband's going to be like,
Oh, that was garbage. Right. I paid
for that garbage.
Right.
But no, for you to take something like from scratch, I was just mesmerized. I'm just like, what's about to happen?
Yes.
You paid attention to everything. You're like, oh, that's the lip color you got.
So one thing that my clients will tell you is that I can get on your nerves. Okay. I'm going to call you the day before, like, okay, let me see that again. Okay. Yeah. I don't like that. Can we put the belt here? Okay. Move that over. Can we open that up? Okay. And I'm literally that like meticulous when it comes to things, because every little thing matters. And it's funny because I'm not a person that pays attention to any details or anything else. But when it comes to the look, I am paying attention to every detail. I'm looking at every little thing. Now, when it comes to things around the house or stuff like that, I'm not looking at no details. I just be like, oh, overall, I like it. But when it comes to somebody's look, I'm like, something seems off. We need something. Take this away. And I think that over the years of doing it, I became a lot better at looking at it too. And I have some clients who have challenged me to be a better stylist. And one thing that I would say is that any hard client is only making you better. And that's what I have learned. And so I embrace the hard things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
So, because we're going to stay positive, I'm not going to say anything about any worse experiences. I'm just saying. So that was the best transformation, and clearly it's because of the internal work
Yes.
that had to be done.
Yes.
But is there anybody that, I'm not going to say it was hard, but you may have a client that I just don't feel like doing this. I could do it myself.
Yes.
Like, but girl, I'm just gonna go ahead, because some people do an amazing job at doing their own makeup. They do an amazing
Absolutely.
job. But they're just saying, hey, you're
Absolutely.
gonna be the girl to do it today. So is there anybody that
Absolutely.
you were just like, oh, okay, well, now I see why you are who you are and I am who I am.
Absolutely. I feel like I have experienced that with a few people. And I think that ultimately, I feel like what they learn is that what I had to learn too, I think it was the experience that I had to learn too, is that when you become the expert, you have to put your foot down on being that expert. Why did you hire me if you got it? So let them step back. and let them see why they needed to hire you. And so there has been an experience, and I'm not gonna say no names, but there has been experiences where I have fired a client and the client has fired me, and we go back and forth, but we're still client and we're still working together to this day. And that became a very difficult. It was difficult at the time. I thought it was hard, but what I realized is that was God challenging me to be a better stylist, and I embrace them today because they make me better. They make me see things that I didn't see before. And although they thought that they could do what I do, they realized when they let me go, they realized, you know what? And they came back and said sorry. Sorry that I didn't trust you and allow you to do what. But see, sometimes that's even not a reflection of you. Because at the time, I took it personal. I thought this was a personal attack on me, but really, what that person realized is that they had to let go of control because they don't have it.
Right.
Because if they had it, they wouldn't have hired me. And I think what we have to do in entrepreneurship is embrace the hard thing, embrace the challenge. It does not mean that they're not a good fit. It means that they're making you better. But I feel like society overwhelmingly tells us that if there's strife,
Right.
if there's something that their tension, then they're not for you. That's not true. That's not true. A better person comes out of the hard ground, right? Your best plants,
Diamonds are for.
pressure
Yeah.
and pearls and anything that's worth having. Now that does not mean that that's your best client. It means that that's a client that is bettering you for your next client, right?
Awesome.
So yes, I have experienced a very hard client, but that client I thank to this day for being that meticulous, that picky, that because it made me stand my ground. It made me learn how to do that in a place where I'm like, where I used to be a little timid to hop in a photo shoot and fix something. Now I'm not timid at all because I got to do my job because they paid me to do something and I have to complete it. And I have made so many mistakes as a stylist that I have no choice but to get better. I had no choice but to do better work the next time. And that client gave grace and I gave them grace. And so that's why I say that business entrepreneurship is faith. It goes hand in hand.
It most definitely does and has to. So is there anything that you don't do? Do you style for photo shoots and branding and weddings and say birthday? Like, what is it? Because I don't know. Like,
Yes.
what is it that a stylist can be hired to do?
So a stylist, we'll talk general, a stylist can be hired for any of that. You have to find the right stylist for you. I typically work on retainer with my clients. So all of my clients are long-term clientele with me. Typically on a month-to-month basis. I do wardrobe upgrades where I create looks for clients, 15 to 30 looks for them. If for a month, a year, or whatever that they need, they might use it for like a quarter. Some people can stretch those looks for 2 quarters. It just depends, 6 months to a year. But I am not a person who has recently been styling just for a birthday party because I believe and thrive off a relationship.
Yeah.
See, style is so personal. And it's a very vulnerable space. And when I first started styling, I was styling everybody. And I was, running myself ragged because this is my heart. It's what I love to do. It's a passion of mine and I give my all to it. And what I realized is that not everybody that's coming understands that passion. But the people that are locked in with me, the people that are building with me and allowing me to build with them on retainer, they understand my heart. So they understand the passion, they understand where I'm going to drive, and they understand the importance. And so I kind of wean that out by not, doing. But I have recently wanted to expand my gift to more people.
Where is Stops by Stacey Lynn going, honey? I love when the segue just happens organically. If you all did not notice, let me just share. This is the first time, besides having conversations with my husband or my mom, people who basically know me inside out, through and through, I'm not holding any cards. Like, this conversation is straight up, Ruth wants to know. I didn't even have to prepare questions. It's just, this is organically just wanting to basically learn about an area in the field that I've always wanted to know for this reason, not just for me, but for you all. Those of you who may have had questions and don't know where to begin, this is it. This is where you begin.
Yes.
So please share, girl. What's next?
So recently, I have been exploring how to bring my gift of design and my gift of styling to life. Now, before, my custom designs were once sold on my boutique. So I did sell a couple of custom pieces through my boutique, and that was more like mass production. And then I started designing pieces for my clients based off of their body type, and because there is a gap in our society right now for quality pieces and for pieces that I feel scream powerful woman, feminine, and that give that uniqueness that we are so missing. And so at this point, the only people that have been able to experience that custom design were people who were already clients of mine. But now I am launching a Stacey Lynn experience where you can come and get a custom or a custom like design for a special occasion, because I simply love creating from a free place. Now, this is not for your every person, because every person is not ready to step into that level of investment. But if you are and you're ready to turn heads and you're ready to make that statement, that will be an experience that more people can take part of.
I'm set up here, colors going through my head.
Yes, we have customized fabrics. We have done all of those things for our clients, and now I want to bring that service to more people.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I love everything about that. Okay, my dear, before we wrap up and talk about, what's your next.
Yes.
And besides that, I really want to ask you, okay, we talked about style, we talked about from the inside out, and we talked about even your journey thus far.
Yes.
This, in this realm of styling and your entrepreneurship and all that. Is there anything else that you literally dream of that's afar off? Like, you haven't necessarily touched it yet, because that is huge.
Yes.
Like, oh my God. But what is 10 years from now? First Style by Stacey Lynn, and you imagine? Because I like God to blow my mind. So
yes,
the first thing I have to do is actually put voice and say something that's already a stretch. Without him that I can't do. What is that for you?
So, what is a dream of mine is to have my designs in the biggest stores that you can imagine. So that's Neiman's Marcus and Nordstrom, and there is a line of clothing that has Stacey Lynn on them. That is my dream, to have my designs in Paris Fashion Week. And yes, and I believe that it's coming. I believe that all of this is necessary, and I believe it's all in God's timing. But it's literally always been a dream of mine, and everything has been coming so like full circle for me. So I even feel like this is God, right? Where I am able to now provide people these custom experiences, especially because specifically my plus size women, they struggle with finding pieces that honor their body, right? most of the time it's trying to cover their body up, which is not, it's not flattering for all. And I just want to be able to provide that for every woman because I believe she deserves to feel unique in her own way. And so that is something that'll be coming up as well.
Yes,
In the next 10 years.
pray not just that it happens, it's gonna happen, but that it happens suddenly and
Yes.
sooner than expected.
Come on.
Now, the last thing that troubles me, we spoke briefly about it. How in your industry do you hold back from saying anything to somebody like, please, why do you have that on? Like that did not what I refer to as offer unsolicited advice. You probably do not. But girl, if I had your skill and your gift, I would just be going around left and right. Not hurting feelings, but just sending somebody a note. Slipping them.
Well, I think what you learn to do is understand that people don't see it. And a lot of times unsolicited advice, I try not to give that because people pay for that, right? And so it's not about the dollar amount for me, but it's about the value.
Okay. Yeah.
And have you ever given something away for free and they didn't take it?
Oh, that's good.
So a lot of times when you give unsolicited advice, they don't take it because that's defense. Like they're immediately on the defense. Now, if you come to me and you say, hey, Stacy, I want to improve, now I can give you a review because you value my opinion. And I think during entrepreneurship, you have to understand where you're valued. And sometimes where it's free is not valued.
We talked about friendships and relationships, and you talked about how you value that, of course, and that, I mean, even with clientele, I like that it's relationship based. I'm the exact same way. Like, people can spend time with me and not get anything, but guess what? They have come back years later saying that when I decided to invest in skincare, when I decided to do something, I remember how you
made me feel,
and let me know that you weren't in it just to make a sale. And I'm like, no, I literally want to know how I can help you.
Yes.
Sometimes they get something. Do you enjoy that? Is that working for you? No, it isn't. But I didn't want to say anything to you. No, we're gonna correct that.
Yes.
So I feel you're the same way with styling.
Absolutely.
So in this relationship, has anyone taken advantage? Like, you know, somebody becomes a doctor, so now if somebody always calling them, I got this pain. Like, so do you get the quick pictures? Stacey, what you think about this real quick?
Absolutely. I get those often. But I do think that people value. Yeah, they definitely value and respect me. And they mention it. Like, I know this is what you do. So if you can't answer it, it's fine. But I did want to just ask you. And I don't mind that, you know, especially for people who have worked with me. They've already invested in me. I'm going to give them what I can, but they also understand that, you know, you go too far and there's an invoice going to be coming. You know what I mean? Because like, thank you so much. Now this is how much but honestly, I feel like people have done an amazing job at respecting boundaries and understanding. But I also think that's the clientele I work with, where they honor what you do because they do something too, right? Working with entrepreneurs, we understand ain't nobody about to call and pick your brain all day because you don't want somebody to call and pick your brain. And so I think that's probably a reason why I don't have so many people saying, hey, can you help me here? What, you know, but
what's
it definitely
ideal situation for you when it comes to new clients? What's ideal? Like, because we have where, I'm just going to be honest, as an entrepreneur, we say, this is the structure, and we give 3 offers, but we want everybody to choose this.
Yes.
One. So what are your choices, if you have any, and what's ideal? Like, for up and coming person, for somebody established? What?
So typically for a person who is up and coming, like an entrepreneur, a person who's just trying to reinvent their style, just starting their podcast, I would encourage you to do more of a wardrobe upgrade package, which is just a one-off package, and it gives you 15 looks. It gives you a consultation. It gives you a vision board of where I think your direction, your style should go, and then I create 15 new looks for you, so that you can have these looks to pull from. They are so on brand for you and easy for you to put on for your podcast, ready to go. For somebody who has already built a business and ready to go, like they are making money in their business, they are doing things, and they're being called on stage. That person, I recommend a retainer. That's my biggest offer, right? That is where I am with you literally month to month, month to month, month to month. Now, that package then has three different base packages. The base package would be virtual, and I'm with you virtually, but I'm creating new looks for you every month. And so that's allowing you to say, hey, Stacy, I got this going on, got this going on. And this is where I can really embody who you are personally. I'm creating like, okay, well, I need to talk to my seamstress so we can make this, because I think this is what you need for this piece. And so, but I'm doing this all virtually. That's the base package. And then my middle package is I'm going to see you once a month. I'm going to do a pull for you. We're going to do a fitting. All of those things is happening, but that is a limited amount of looks. So like the first package, you only get 3 looks a month. The second package, you get 7 looks a month. And then that higher package is someone who is really on the go, have no time, right? And I'm literally creating 15 looks for them a month. I'm doing a closet edit. I'm making sure they're getting pulls every month. I'm making sure that their closet is clean, that I'm dropping off, picking up, doing all of those things. Yes,
That's like the devil wears Prada.
absolutely.
I like that. Look, y'all notice I skipped all those packages.
She was like, oh, okay, that's cool, but what's that one?
But Chappelle was like, girl, that is not you.
Yeah.
That's what that He was like, here you go again.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I did not even know. See, the questions that I asked me hot over here. I am over
She's
here
like, I need that package today.
I like the closet needs to be clean.
Yeah, yes,
I'm
right
gonna
now.
throw away all my clothes. Except the things that she styled today, of course. Oh my
See, and that means she don't even really have to throw them away.
Stacey, no, honey. This has been like so much fun. Informative, educational, empowering, but fun nonetheless.
Yes.
And I want you all to know you deserve it. You deserve this experience. Yeah, Punta Cana this. Yeah, put on that doggone dress. Everybody's done it. I didn't want to. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm a one-of-a-kind type person. I'm a unique, and anybody who knows me knows I don't wear a brand on my forehead or go around having to sport anything except Ruth. I want you to see me authentically showing up as my best self, no matter how I am. If it's a run to the grocery store or if it is on somebody's stage and holding a microphone, but you're going to preferably always say, hey, she can carry anything and wear it well, or just exude confidence, because it is all about that. So thank you for sharing just your journey, your story, and more important, your expertise with our audience. I had the best time. We could sit here forever, child. I promise you. If I had the money,
You have the money.
You're definitely right. But we had the time. We would go up to that doggone closet. Honey, my kids would be tired of me because
Listen.
I won't footage of all this. It's amazing. Ladies, please make the investment. The next time somebody asks you what you want, say Styled by Stacey Lynn. Say an experience that will just upgrade not your wardrobe, but upgrade your entire life, because it does. It begins with your mindset, and it's the internal work that show up on the outside. So thanks again, beautiful friend. And this is just the beginning for both of us, and elevated as we continue to lift as we climb.
Yes, I love you.
Thank you for showing up. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time, this is Ruth Debonair Southall saying thank you for joining us on Becoming Serene. And you continue to embrace peace on your pursuit of your purpose. Bye bye. Subscribe, like, and share.